Welcome back, everyone, to the Music City Open. This is round 2 of the lead card. We're out at Cedar Hill Park in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Sarah Hokom here with Zoe Andyke to call the action.
Hey, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. This is exciting. The NT finale. And after round 1, here's our standings. Sarah Hokom, myself, and Heather Young are tied for first place. And Alexis Mandujano, Haley, Missy, Natalie, all tied for 4th. Like to see JK Konopanis up in there? Let's check out the action and see how it unfolds. Here's hole 1. It's a par 3, 356 feet. Got a little bit of an uphill elevation gain and just one small gap to get out of. Definitely a tough birdie for the FPO field. And most players are just trying to get themselves out there, place their shot for a nice easy par.
I'm going with a vanish here, looking to flex this up the right side and then way over there to get as much distance as possible.
Pretty impressive sidearm there. Definitely not a lefty-friendly hole right here, so I was pretty stoked to see that shot, Sarah.
I don't know. I'm going to have to just disagree with you. I really think the lefty line is the way to actually get to the basket, but you need about 100 more feet than I've got.
I'm throwing a Discraft Zeus here, just trying to throw a simple hyzer, get myself out there, like I said, for an upshot.
I like that play. Certainly takes the cedar trees out of play, which is kind of the only mistake you can make, is hitting those early trees. Heather Young up, throwing for Prodigy. She's a lefty, so she'll have that flex line. This is her F5. She leaves it out a little bit too far to the right and misses the gap, and will be right below that cedar tree for an approach.
Alexis Mandujano.
And this is Alexis Mandujano. She plays for Discraft. Kind of toggles between her stalker and a passion. This is her stalker. Also leaves it a little bit right into that cedar tree, sneaks through the bottom.
Giving herself a look nonetheless. Everybody's in pretty decent position to get themselves under the basket for the par.
Kind of testing some routine approach shots right off the bat here. Everybody's going to try to get it real close. Nobody's really going to probably be trying to get this in the basket.
I do like hole 1's. It just kind of sets you up for a friendly start. Nothing too tricky. No birdie or die. Just a really nice way to ease into Cedar Hill.
Yeah, and you probably won't have much of a putt starting off, so you don't have that first hole putting jitters. Or maybe you do, but they're easy putts.
I know for me, it's a very exciting opportunity to play with yourself and our card mates on top card. Having the film crew definitely adds a little bit of those jitters you were talking about, but takes a couple holes, and then you find yourself back to that comfortable spot.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In an ideal world. Heather tapping in for the par. Alexis to do the same.
I love her putt all around. I just would watch her step up and kind of know that her rhythm and routine is so solid. She's a very quick player and just very confident in her stroke.
Yeah, she looks really comfortable. And I think it shows in the way that, in her release, it's very clean. Nothing looks forced or jerky.
Nice little tap in here for the par. Everybody on the card.
I'd like to see them extend this hole and turn it into a par 4 for us next year. The old position, I think. Last year they played to a longer position. It's probably a pretty good par 3 for the men. But I think the extending this one and making it a par 4 for us would be a really good hole.
And here we are on hole 2. It's a par 5, 618 feet. Here we go with the Cedar Hill gaps. A kind of a narrow hallway. Gonna have to sneak around something from right to left and get yourself in good position just past these trees that we're flying past for a very narrow hallway in the second half of the fairway. And then we have quite a bit of uphill incline just to get to the basket. Again, very narrow gaps in order to approach to the basket.
You can see all these greens. They have these borders of wooden logs around them, which can hurt and help.
I appreciate them, and I have seen them cause damage.
This was a relay. I threw it a little bit low, but it was pretty close to what I was looking for. Kind of got some dirty ground play, pushing me off to the right into those trees. What are you throwing here?
I've got a DD3 Discmania disc. Definitely early release right there. Lucky kick, actually. Very happy to find myself in the fairway.
Heather up with her D2. Really sets up for her sidearm.
Puts herself in an open position there.
And Alexis throwing a passion. Great position and distance.
Absolutely. For, I think it's a speed 8 fairway driver, Alexis throws that passion quite a bit and gets an incredible amount of distance. I'm just trying to get myself up into position, but again, gnarly little early release tree hit and find myself luckily in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, not bad. Not a bad spot to be. Heather going back to a D2, which she throws a lot. She throws I think she's got 4 different ones in her bag. And they're all purple of some shade.
Yes. Versatile player here. Alexis showing her forehand just as strong as a backhand.
Kind of gets rooted there by either a rock or a log or something, but she threw a good shot, and she is in the middle of the fairway.
This shot was fantastic. I mean, you placed yourself in the middle of the fairway, and it was up there. I mean, you've got yourself options now to get to the basket. Only on your second shot. And remember out there, it is a par 5. So a little bit of room in case you're taking some bad luck or maybe just personal mistakes on this fairway.
Wow. That is a great shot. What was that?
That was my Infinite Sphinx, my signature disc.
Sphinx. It's kind of fun to say.
It is.
Oh, Alexis hits a tree pretty early.
Just a little early release there on the sidearm. Hairy spot here for Heather Young. But check this out. Giving herself a birdie bid, weaving through trees. That was awesome.
Excellent. That was her A3. This is a reactor. That was a little bit of a fluffy release, but I will have a putt for birdie.
Kind of some tough footing here for Alexis, but making short work of it nonetheless. She
gets kind of a bad roll away there. She's coming in nice and hit those trees, and now she's got an edge of the circle putt.
Turning over.
Beautiful.
One of the oldest discs in my bag. That's one of the first deputies, I believe, ever made.
Oh, wow. Claim to fame. Oh, Alexis trying to make good on that birdie. Doesn't quite have the angle. This is also for birdie. Not the cleanest putt I've thrown.
Just a little bit right, but perfect height.
I think it was I was a little uncomfortable on that putt for some reason. I think probably because it's hole 2.
Might have something to do with it. Nice birdie there for Heather Young. And here's for my par. Got a few tap-ins here as we clean up on hole 2. What do you putt with, Sarah?
Mostly with an iron, but anything outside the circle, I'm using a spin. It's got a lot of glide, and so my no spin putt, it stays in the air because of the glide of that disc. So Heather with the birdie, taking the box.
And here is hole 3. It's a par 3, 266 feet. Pretty narrow hallway. Players are just wanting to stay mostly straight. If you get a little bit of turnover, or if you're throwing lefty, leaking a little bit right will get you under the basket, potentially even ace running it.
So Heather took the lead with that birdie, and she is up first with her D2. Comes out a little bit early.
She's just off the fairway on the right rough there.
This is an insanity.
Love that shot.
It's one of my new favorite discs.
Parked. It's very pretty too. I have to say, MVP's plastic has got it going on. I'm throwing my passion here. Love this disc. Trust it. Didn't quite throw it with as much conviction as I was hoping. Again, just the third hole got a little bit of the jitters going on, but still happy to give myself a bid.
Yeah, I think that's the right miss, right? So like if, this miss by Alexis is, you're going into the trees. So, if you just don't turn it over quite enough, at least you're pin high with a putt. And not having to do this.
Yes. That was a great shot by Heather.
She just wanted to show off all her skills.
Got
Lefty sidearm from a knee, no problem.
That was great.
That was her A3 again, the same disc that she flexed so beautifully on the last hole.
Alexis giving it a fair bid, putting herself very safely near the basket for the par. For my birdie. Oh, I was really excited when I let go of that, thinking it was actually going to go in, but it was very close. It's a good up and down par for Heather Young there. And just a couple of tap-ins for the rest of the card as we all take a 3 on hole 3.
I'll walk away with the birdie.
Oh, excuse me. Tap in 2.
As I tie it back up with Heather.
And that's like best case scenario right there. Just the drop in.
Don't let the eyes off the target. Don't let the eyes off the target. There it goes. Okay. And after this message from our sponsors, we will be right back.
When I walk up to the tee, I have these game plans. I think I'm gonna land in these same areas every single time, but you never know. Having the Bushnell rangefinder, no matter where I land, gives me that extra level of confidence.
I'm Garrett Girthy. People know me as Double G. I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
Whether I'm at home or on the road, Double G craft jerky is the snack that I go for.
I've actually found myself eating Double G craft jerky on my long drives to the next tournament.
We all know Double G's got a big arm, but he's also got a big heart. Every bag of Double G jerky that you buy supports children's disc golf and goes to a great cause.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
And we are back here on hole 4, par 3, 321 feet. There's a little bit of elevation gain. Pretty open and friendly tee shot. And then as we approach the green, it gets a little bit hairier. Cedar trees all around the protected basket. Players are looking to either take the right-hand side of the fairway and skip in, or the pure line through the left.
This is an insanity. Looking for it to flex a little bit more. I don't quite get all the way into the gap, but I'm leaving myself a little approach to get my par. Heather going with a D2.
And in decent position again, just approach there.
Yeah, I don't know if she's trying to flex it all the way to that gap on the left. or if she is just playing up that right side. I'm guessing she's trying to flex it. I like this play. But unfortunately, there are a lot of obstacles as it's coming in there. I've seen a lot of players get through on that gap, though.
And I actually released that higher than I wanted to. That line right there that Alexis takes a little bit lower, I believe the skip shot is the way to the basket if you're taking that right side. And that gives her a jump putt look for the birdie. And there's that very, very flippy deputy again. Old trusty, right under the basket for me.
Effortless. I love it when they just turn out of your hand. You don't have to force them to do anything.
Absolutely.
So Heather back to that A3 that she is such a master with. And yes, puts it by the basket. Little bit of work to do, but Heather is a really great putter. I've got a bit of a gap here to try to get to the basket.
And from the side view, I was like, it's in. That was a very, very, first of all, tough shot shape to pull off with a jump putt and a great bid.
That's another putter that's super flippy. Alexis also making a bid.
Very good, very strong attempt.
And Heather to clean up the par. No problem. So no birdies on this card today, but there were some birdies in the field. 19% of the field got this one. This one is weird, though. There was 75% pars, and UDIS stats list 0 people off the fairway, and only 6% bogeys.
Interesting.
So it's really interesting. I feel like it's pretty easy to bogey this hole.
Yeah, any kind of missed line off of your tee shot could get you in bogeyville.
Heather from a straddle stance, staring it down, finding the chains.
We are on to hole 5 here, another par 3, only 236 feet, quite a bit of elevation gain, probably playing much more like 260, 270 for players. As you can see, again, another narrow hallway gap leaking off to the right-hand side is going to give you a chance for a birdie. Even playing just a very straight shot will give you a chance or a putt for a birdie as well. The trick here is throwing it nice and straight off the tee.
I'm throwing a vanish on a hyzer. Get a little tree kick, but I'm right up there for a short putt. This is also a great lefty hole, so Heather getting to utilize her D1, looking for a big fade to the basket. And she gets it inside the circle.
It's a great shot by both of you. And I'm throwing my Sphinx here.
Much more difficult shot for the righty backhand. I like this play to straight. You can still get a look, but you're not trying to turn it up the hill and risk missing your line.
Right. It's so easy to try to force the disc over and accidentally grip lock, which will definitely land you right into a tree.
And that was Alexis's stalker with a similar play as you had.
And she's not messing around. She wants to get her par and get out of town. I, on the other hand, get really excited. I've got a jump putt opportunity. Oh, I thought that one was good too. I'm feeling like the putter is coming out of my hand strong for those power putts.
Yeah, it looks really smooth. Speaking of smooth, Heather Young for birdie.
Such a great putter.
I feel like those are gimmies.
This entire card, very smooth, very confident putting. And that's good for every player. You know, watching strong, confident strokes by each card mate actually adds to my confidence in my stroke.
Yeah, I would agree. It's great to see someone just step up and not be worried and put the biscuit in the bucket. I'm gonna match Young's birdie, and we'll both go to 5 down. And
Alexis and I tapping in our pars.
Shout out to Kat Murch and Jessica Weiss, who also got this birdie on the day. No wonder they all have a pretty strong sidearm. I think this hole's a lefty hole.
I would agree with that.
Beautiful putt by Heather once again.
And here we are on tricky hole 6. It's 280 feet and it's a par 3. Got a pretty, a decent gap right off the tee, but then a very sharp dog leg to the right. We've got low ceiling coverage, tree coverage, and again, all the way down to the basket. Same idea, very protected by the foliage, produced by the trees there. So we've seen a really wide variety of plays on this hole. Forehand, roller, backhand turnover. What are you throwing here, Sarah?
This is a pyro, really overstable mid, looking to get around the corner, but I don't. This hole is so weird.
Very weird.
We didn't see any birdies on it yesterday. Heather stepping up with her D2, looking for a big flare. Oh,
And
wow.
She gets a good flare there.
So she's inside circle 2, I think, at this point, and with a pretty straight look to the pin. It's a great shot.
And I'm opting for a left-handed shot here with my legacy rival.
I was there when you threw that, and I did not realize you threw left-handed. That is awesome.
Well, thank you.
Wow, what a skill to have. Mrs. Ambidextrous. Alexis also throwing the sidearm with her Raptor, also looking for a big fade. It kind of skips a little straight, though, which is what happens when you kind of throw down a hill. Oftentimes it doesn't get that fade that you're looking for.
And we've got a lot of trees to get around here.
I'm trying to pitch around the corner, and I don't really make it, unfortunately. I think
Low
I would have
ceiling.
should have thrown a backhand turnover there, if I could take that back, which I would like to at this point.
Great layup there. The ground is tricky. I'm picking a spot on the ground, staring it down right here, just trying to give it a nice jump bid. And you can see all those roots, that little leftover stump log on the ground. There's a lot that can happen to your putter.
Yeah, I agree. It's dangerous. And there's a slope behind the basket. So if you hit one of those, catch an edge, it's easy to just roll to pretty far.
And again, Heather at that tester distance. Do I run it? Do I not? And she knew she was running it right when she walked up to it very confidently. And that was so close.
One of few players to even get in this inside circle 2 for a putt. Only 11% of the field was able to accomplish that. Alexis will tap out her par. So no birdies on our card and no birdies in the field. I think they might want to reassess this pin position in the future.
Definitely a tricky hole.
But it is producing bogeys, 28% of the field bogey, along with me. Oh, you take them here and there.
And then you just move on to the next shot.
More challenge awaits, and here's another look at your lefty throw. I love this.
Sweet.
Such good form. Man.
Sometimes I think my lefty form might be more solid than righty, but...
And we'll be right back after this.
Passion is more than fiery emotion. It feeds the spark to start your day. It fuels your obsessions. It inspires your dreams. Passion challenges your fears, and it repeatedly bathes you in sweat until you are transformed into a new, better you. Disc golf isn't just your passion, it's ours too.
You've seen them in the hands of professionals, helping them compete at the highest level. Whale Sacks is a female-owned small business, handmade in the USA. We are dedicated to outstanding grip for all disc golfers.
And we're back here on hole 7. It is a par 4, 632 feet. down a pretty steep hill for the majority of the fairway. Once players have achieved getting down through the gap, it opens up quite a bit more, still a couple of tricky trees on the right-hand side, to an open green, which is pretty rare for this course. Tricky hole, gotta know your discs, know how to throw downhill elevation, and then get yourself up to the basket.
Heather up first, she's in the lead at -5. She's throwing her D2, looking for more of a flex than that. There are some gaps down there on those right-hand trees.
And I am throwing an Infinite Emperor here. I release it just a little high, as you can tell from my body language, but luckily the trees were very nice to me there and kept me in the fairway. Just dropped me straight down.
Alexis going with a passion. This looks great. Just needs to miss all those trees. Sneak. Yes.
And excellent skip there.
That is the perfect shot.
It's actually the best shot I've seen as far as an FPO player in our field get through this gap and get out to the open.
This is an insanity. I threw it a little bit turned. Cut rolls, but I'm in the center with some work to do. This is actually one of my favorite holes on the course.
I would agree with that.
It's got a lot of character.
And it's a good par 4. I think I threw my Emperor there as well. I carry 3 of them. That's the flippiest one.
Really great technical shot. This is another insanity.
And this was a great shot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of got it out there. Still 100 feet or so to approach the pin. And then Heather, she's got a nice gap. Flexes it around the tree and all the way out for a birdie putt.
Pretty incredible from that position. But again, she was lucky to get that gap on the right side.
Now Alexis with short work here to make for an easy birdie.
And she executes this sidearm beautifully.
Right by the pin for a pretty short putt.
I'm throwing my Thought Space Praxis here. I love this addition to my bag. Really, really trustworthy straight throwing putter.
A Praxis.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a name of a test we used to take as a kid?
Sounds like it.
Praxis test.
Fun to say either way, and I find myself right next to the bucket.
I'm throwing a little envy upshot. And get a little rail slide.
So we've got Heather here with, I'm going to say that's about a 22 to 25 footer. Checking the wind, going through her rhythm and routine.
Not much wind out there today, but there was a little bit. I would say very mild, but certainly present.
Almost. Really good bid.
And Alexis for birdie.
No doubt. Very solid on the putting green.
Puts her under par.
And a solid par there for Sarah. Got a little tap in here myself. Really
That's
happy.
A great par after that. After your tee shot,
Up and down.
You really scrambled.
Yeah, let's take a look at this shot again.
Just perfect reach back, slight hyzer, and then let the disc do the work.
A fairway driver that gets all the distance of a distance driver. 2 holes left to go on this front half. Here's hole 8, par 3, 422 feet. So one of the longer par 3s and pretty tough to get yourself inside all the way for a putt. As you can see, it's a little more open. Closing in into the green gets a lot trickier with a ton more cedar trees. You just want to pipe it straight up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it plays to a really long backhand, right? To actually get to the birdie. We saw one birdie on this yesterday from a throw in, but nobody's really getting inside the circle yet. Alexis throws a good shot out to the right. She'll have a straight look at the pin.
Yeah, the right is definitely more favorable. It's the side you want to be on.
Heather going with a D2. I think she meant to turn that a bit more. Also off to the right.
And I've got another Emperor here for my tee shot. It just slips out of my hand about a full second early, but I'm luckily not in too much danger there with the first half of the fairway being so open.
This is an Insanity once again. It's kind of my new favorite disc.
And look at the turn.
It fades a little bit far to the right, but I'm happy it turned over yesterday, so I made the opposite mistake. Nothing like progress. So tough lie here. You have to go a hyzer around all those trees.
And I was so excited. That's my strength shot. I love anytime you give me a hyzer, but again, just let go of it a little bit early.
Heather up next with the PA3, just going putter.
Nice open look at the basket.
Doesn't quite turn it, or maybe missed her trajectory just a little bit, but she's still got only a 20-footer, which is a great putt for Heather. Alexis up next also kind of turns it a bit, but she's great. She's right there, 15-footer.
Yeah, very close to the basket. And this is a tricky shot. This is a pretty drastic turnover to get around that tree right in front of you. Well executed.
I think I should have thrown something slightly more stable or with a little less angle, but I was happy to get up in the circle to have a chance at par.
Got my trusty Discraft zone there. Another very drastic hyzer to get around all those cedar trees, and it works for me.
This is for par.
Nicely done.
And Heather for par as well. Yeah, playing is the second most difficult hole. No birdies on the field today. And only 6%. So a couple players got into circle 2, but nobody cashed in the birdie. 42% bogey.
Wow, so a difficult hole, certainly.
It's playing as the second most difficult. So, yeah. I'd like to see a shorter pad on this in the future because I really like the green.
Yeah.
I think the green's got a lot going on, but I think it's just a little too far with the shot shapes required.
And there's a lot going on around this green, the busy road. I think I remember a siren or two going off.
Yeah.
And all the players.
There's also a haunted house along that road that has random screaming noises.
And on to our final hole here in the first half of the second round, hole 9, par 4, 495 feet. Semi-open into pretty hairy middle of the fairway. You just have to weave, most players are trying to penetrate straight through to get to the second half of this fairway. And then as you can see, a little bit of a right turn to get down to the green and quite a few trees to weave through.
Pick your poison. This is a pretty fun hole.
I like this hole as well. A lot of the par 4s are really well designed and appropriate pars.
And Alexis up first with that birdie from a couple holes ago, throwing her stalker. She gets down there pretty good. Heather with a D2. Getting over to that right side, but getting caught up I'm throwing in Insanity.
Surprise. Just kidding.
No, for real.
No, but that's just how quality that disc is, and you know it.
Put it up a little bit high, so I'll have a little bit of work to do.
And I'm throwing my very beat-in, very flippy Emperor. And just out of my hands, I was super happy with it, but got a tree kick. Dropped down early. Gonna have to have a rough stance here and find a gap.
Where is the gap?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going for placement.
It just looks like a wall of trees.
Uh-huh. And I get myself into a little bit better of a position than I even had planned.
Heather also gap hunting. Misses the line a bit, gets kicked to the right, so still have some work to do. Also gap hunting.
Super slim right out the get-go.
I hit a tree kind of farther away up there. Still have another shot to get down to the green. And Alexis with a turnover. It's a little bit turned too much.
She got so far for that first shot. I wanted to see that one go.
So I've got a tree in my backswing. So I'm going to mark it, take a knee, give myself an extra inch or so I can not hit that tree in my backswing. Taking my full 30 seconds.
And hey, sometimes that's got to be, that's required to get to your confident state and execute the shot.
I'll be about 20 feet, 15 feet maybe.
Heather in pretty hairy position here. Turning over a little sidearm putter, I believe.
And she gets herself just outside the circle through that land of pencil trees. And this looks like a pretty difficult turning shot.
Yeah, and put a little too much turn in it. And I'm just outside of the circle there in a little strange little ditch.
So par is pretty elusive today on this hole. We're all going to be struggling to get up and down here. This is Alexis's third. She needs to put this close. Yeah, nice shot.
So she's got a chance for the par there. And I, on the other hand, am well outside of the circle. Looking for a big jump putt. Felt so good about it, but just short.
Easy tap in.
Easy tap in.
And Heather for the par. And she gets it.
Yeah, outside of the circle, and
I always know she's going to make
solid.
I always know she's going to make a couple of those every round.
Yep. Very solid putter.
And this is for my par.
Cashed. Great stroke there.
That was a root. I'm telling everyone, watch out for that thing. There's so much debris on the ground that you can't tell whether it's just a stick or a root if you're not paying very close attention. Thankfully, I didn't lose an ankle in the process. And Alexis for par.
Yes, so solid. So a couple of pars there, one bogey, and here I am jogging in to tap that in. There's a funny little route there as well for my mini to sit on.
So that's our front nine on round two. Taking a look at Heather's finishing putt here. And she doesn't even, she is watching it. There it goes. She's like, doesn't even have to watch. She's like, yep, that's in.
And huge shout out to Central Coast for covering the FPO rounds. And here's a look at your leaderboard.
So Heather out in front with a bogey-free front 9 at -5. I'm at -4, and then Zoe and Alexis are at -1 on the event. And that concludes the front. We'll see you on the back. Thanks for joining us.